how to display last 10 months sales dynamically using Power BI. This is one of the requirements. You may get it or receive it from your reporting users. So here, the context here is, for example, your company has been collecting sales data and wants to gain insights into the sales performance over the last 10 months. So your job is to create a report that displays the total sales for the last 10 months based on the reporting user input. Whatever the date that they selected, it should display the last 10 months data report. Okay, it should create it something like that. Okay, so in this case, we are going to use the same function, the dates in period function. Okay, but here right before, in this case we are using the time-based functions, right? The dates in period, that is a DAX function. We should have a properly configured date table in our Power BI model before using this. Okay, here I'll explain you the steps how we need to implement that. Before that, I will give you a quick context about what I am talking about it. Look here. So here I just go to the last end days. This is the page. Look here, this is my slicer. If I select for example, here, let me do one thing. April 2004, if I select it, okay, and this is called your what if parameter. We already discussed about that. Okay, so here the in this case, you can, if you slide this towards the right or left side, right, it gives you an option. Okay, 2, 6, or something like that. Okay, here this one I already created. I explained to you in the last session, right? Here, I just go by the 2 here. Okay, if you slide this towards the right side or left side, yeah, I just give you the quick idea. 1 second. So here, when you click on the sorry, here the note the data drill. See, you have something called new parameter. Yeah, modeling, right? In the modeling, when you click on this, it will get created something like this. Okay, this is called your what if parameter. It's, don't get confused with the query parameter. This is what if parameter. And you know what is what if analysis, right? If I change the values here based on the values that I choose it has to display it. Simple example is, for example, when I select April 2014, the previous month and current month, last 2 months, which include last 2 months in the sense current month and previous month. Okay, last month. Supposing the user wants to see last 4 months sales. You have selected April. So just before April, what all the months are there? March, Jan 2014, but Feb 2014. Jan, Feb, March, April, right? So it gives me last 4 months. And if you want to see the last 6 months, you can see that the selected month was April 2014. April 2000, just before this, what are the months are there? Jan, Feb, March, April. Jan, Feb, March, April, and then previous month, December 2013, November 2. It is displaying it correctly. But only thing is the chronological order that we will change it. Okay. So in this case, this is the requirement. Your job is to create the 1 second, sorry. Okay. Yeah, your job is to create a report, something like this, which displays the total sales for the last 10 months based on the user input. User input in the sense the what if parameter we are using it. Yeah, I will just show you one more time the modeling ribbon. You will just go to the, click on the new parameter, numeric range. You click on it. It will open up something like that. Okay, this is called your parameter. Here you go and specify the values here. So when you open it, what you see here, the minimum value and increment by 1. So let's say the minimum I started with 2 and increment by 2. Okay, and maximum is, I'm going to say, maximum 12, that is enough. or maximum, let's 10 months are enough. I just click on create. It's being created. Look here, what if parameter got created, right? So it's the parameter. Look here, it starts with 2 and you can increase it like anything. So here 4, 2, 4, 6, 8. You can increment it by 1 also. Okay, so this is how I created it. Look here. And if you select this object, sorry, this visual parameter. So the name of this one is parameter, and I'm going to expansion parameter and parameter value. And if you go to the data view, and if you select the parameter, you can see that. So behind the scene, there is a DAX function. All we did was just we clicked on the new parameter, and I have given already 2 and increment by 2, start by 2, increment by 2. The maximum value 16 here I've given. So what happened here? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. It generated the value something like this. The name of this one is parameter. Okay, parameter. And if you expand this one, the parameter value. Okay, here, if you come here, so that is what we can see it here. So based on the value that I selected here, it will dynamically display the values last n months based on the date, month, year that I selected it here. Got it? That's it. This is the idea of this report. So how do we how to implement this one? What are the steps involved here? So in this case, you need to create a slicer, very simple one. But make sure that you have created the month year column. This is month year column. I just go here, and then in the calendar table, you can see the month year column. Can you see that? I just clicked on it, and here I have used this command: format calendar date, comma and ampersand hyphen ampersand format calendar date year. Okay, so ampersand and ampersand, right? In between, I've used the double quote, and here I've used the hyphen. Using hyphen, we can display something like Jan hyphen 2011. Okay, this is how I created the month year column. Got it? The ampersand is used to combine the values, concatenate the values from two different columns or something like that. Okay. So month year I created it, and importantly, in this case, look here, I just go to this one and I'm going to select this one. This month year column should be there in sales W04 also. So step 1 is make sure that you create a month year column in your calendar table, and at the same time, the sales W04 table also, you create a month year column. Look here, month year column. This is important. And if I go back here, and in this visual, I have used the month year from my sales W04 table. Okay. The x-axis is month year column from my sales W04, and sales, and this is a my DAX function. So make sure that both in the calendar table and your the sales fact table or sales table, transaction table, also you create a month year combination, right? Month year columns you created. Step 1, and step 2 is you create a what if parameter. And yeah, this step 3 is, yes, you need to drag and drop the month year from the sales W04 table, and the measure also you need to drop it here. So then now let us go and examine what I have written it in this measure. Sales in last 10 months. So here I'm going to click on this. Look here. In this case, I've used the calculate function. The sum up to this you are familiar. Next one is the dates in period. We already discussed about the dates in period. So in this case, the dates in period function, what it does, how many of you remember this? It calculates the last 10 months sales. Okay, it calculates the last 10 months sales. Okay. In this case, the dates in period function, what it does is the first argument of your dates in period function, what it does is it filters your table, right? So see, the first argument is your which column that you want to use it as a date column. That is what it tells us. See, in the dates in period, the syntax is the first column is your dates, which means the column of dates to use for the calculation. In this case, I'm using the date column from a calendar table. And then the second one is the start date. Start date is maximum date. Maximum date is your recent date. Obviously, in your recent date, see in this case, what I selected, April 2014. In the recent date, and what I'm doing is the parameter value. You remember, this is the this name of this visual is parameter, and for the value, the column name is parameter value. This one I passed as an argument, and I used the negative symbol just before this. And you have month, year, and all month, year, quarter option is also available. In this case, the requirement is last n month sales performance you want to say. And here the dates in period will return whatever the value you see 2, right? The 2 will get copied here, -2. Last 2 month sales value will get calculated and then it will get displayed here, right? So this measure will give the last 2 months sales value, total sales. And in the x-axis, we plotted this one. That's all. So to quickly summarize, create month year column in both the calendar table as well as in your transaction table, and also create a visual. In that visual, you see in this case, look here, in this case, I have used the calendar tables month year column. This is very important, guys. Initially, even I was having tough time when I worked in other project. This one should come from your calendar table because using which only you are going to filter this one. But in this case, the month year column comes from your sales W04, and this is the one is this one. So step one, create a month year column in both the table, and step two is create a measure. Sorry, create a slicer. In the slicer, you use the calendar tables month year column, and step three is create a what if parameter. Whatever value you want to call, starting value is 2 in this case, increment by 2. Look here, if I slide this, it goes by 4. Okay. So here, and the maximum value is 16 here. Whatever value you want based on your record, the maximum value you can choose by. The next one is in the measure. I just go to the measure now. The last step is, yes, you need to create the in this case, yeah, I just sales in last 10 months, measure. That's all. So the last step is this one. So once you create the measure, you're all set. Okay, that's all. Here, you need to tell which tables, date column that you need to use it. The second one will give you the recent date. From the recent date, how far back you want to go. So that one you determine it. You can also specify -2, -3 directly here, but it is odd coded one. If you want to make it dynamic, that is when the what if parameter is coming into picture. Or if you think you don't want to use the what if parameter, again you want to use another slicer, then you can use selected value. You remember selected value, right? What are the value they are selecting? For example, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. You can put it in, you need to create a static table. Here in this case, that headache is not, you don't have to create a static table. Instead, you can directly use this one here, right? That is the whole idea of this one. So now you understood what is the difference between what if parameter and how flexible this one, right? We are giving the flexibility for the users to dynamically select the value. So using this approach, you can implement this solution. You understood, right? For example, May 2012, if I select it, the May month and the previous month is April, right? April and May month. So these two things are displayed. So this is how you can implement the last 10 months sales performance, sales or whatever it may be, sales or profitability, whatever you want, the measures, right? You can implement it this way, dynamically to display last 10 months performance, right? To view the performance, you can follow this approach.